as the Essex County Sheriff's Department Honor Guard presents the colors, and our national anthem is sung by John Lucy III.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh.
Remain standing to observe the moment of silence for the people of Ukraine. Those who have been in combat will know what they're going through. Uncover. Everybody, be seated. My name is Dennis Palazzo, and we are thrilled to welcome you to the Richard T. Joy Performance Center as we designate the town of Newbury a Purple Heart community. Please silence your phones. Well, that might be mine. Okay, tonight We honor the sacrifices made by our nation's Purple Heart recipients. Because of those sacrifices, these brave men and women face challenges every day that you and I can only imagine. Some never came home. It's fitting that we gather here in an auditorium named for Richard Joy. Richard was a headmaster of this school, longtime resident, select board member of Newbury, but more importantly to me, he was a tank commander in Germany during World War II. Also fitting that we would gather today on March 29th, Vietnam Veterans Day, because just 6 months ago we hosted the Moving Wall, a tribute to the 58,318 brave men and women, no, heroes, who made the ultimate sacrifice and were never able to receive their Purple Hearts. Let's talk about heroes. Most people, when asked, will say that their heroes are movie stars, sports figures, rock stars. In a world half on the other side of the globe, people are fleeing for their lives and fighting for their freedom. And we have to witness slapping at the Oscars the other night. Come on, heroes? Let me just ask, how many veterans here? Army? Who, huh? Navy? Air Force? I'm sorry. Kidding. Coast Guard? I see you. First of all, thank you all for your service. I'm humbled just to be in the same room with you. And if I get emotional, I apologize. Let me tell you about my heroes. My heroes are here tonight. My heroes wear dog tags. My heroes wrote a blank check payable to the United States of America for an amount up to and including their lives. The names of my heroes are inscribed on monuments throughout this country and abroad. Movies are made. Songs are written about my heroes. I was fortunate a few months ago to attend a veterans luncheon. I met a man, World War II veteran, paratrooper, who jumped into Normandy. That stuff you read about. He was there. I was like a kid who just met the Easter Bunny. I was all over him. Did you get enough to eat? Can I get you another drink? Can you tell me a story? My dad served in World War II. Lied about his age so he can enlist and fight for his country. My brother-in-law, Purple Heart recipient, served in Vietnam. My heroes fought for and continue to fight for our freedoms. Those are my heroes. You are my heroes. I am honored to introduce this next gentleman. While serving in Vietnam, his aircraft was shot down on a combat mission. Among his many awards and decorations, he has received the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Bronze Star for Valor, and the Purple Heart. Please welcome Vietnam veteran, Purple Heart recipient, and combat pilot, Chief Warrant Officer Robert Haynes.
You'll have to put up with my little buddy here. He kind of followed around with me. Very go over the other people. Before we get started, and I think it was only out of fault or neglect, I would like to also thank the Marines who served and served very well. Duty, honor, country. These are things that are instilled with you. Duty to your country, honor to your country, and be proud of your country. The service members that have served have paid, some with the ultimate price, and never came back. In 1780, Fidelity Medallion was approved by the Continental Army. This basically is the first award given. And notice how I say award. Some people say they won it. You say that to a veteran, and he's going to look at you. What did I win? I was awarded. I was awarded the Purple Hat. It was not something that I was looking for. It wasn't a game show. In 1782, George Washington changed the Fidelity Medal into the Badge of Military Merit, which by some is the first decoration consisting of a cloth Purple Hat issued for the gallantry in battle, or for extraordinary fidelity in combat, service to our country. In 1932, General MacArthur, not being quite so satisfied with that, gave the Purple Hat its name. And the modern day look at this time was the only given to the Army and the Army Air Corps. The Marines and Navy were not involved. And it was not given posthumously. You had to be alive to receive it. In 1942, President Roosevelt and the War Department changed the Purple Hat so all service members wounded in action, drawing blood, and needing medical aid could receive it. June 5th, 2010, an estimated 1,910,162 Purple Hats were given out. 1955 to April 30th, 1975 was the Vietnam War, or conflict as it was first called. To me, I don't know what the difference was. We could have gotten wounded either way. Come, back up. Now, come over here. Down. In 1955 to 1975 was the Vietnam War. One of our longest wars. 2.7 million served in Vietnam. When the wall was designed, it had 57,939 names on it. In 2017, they added 379 names for a total of 58,318. The youngest killed in Vietnam was 15 years old. He was a U.S. Marine, Dan Bullock, June 7th, 1969. 15 years old. He entered the Marines when he was 14. This is the brief history of Vietnam. Now I can go on with my own accounts of Vietnam. I thought it was a war that was never going to end, but it did. And there was 2,709,918 vets served in Vietnam. There's only 850,000 alive today. That's all I'm going to say on that. I will give you a brief humor story. It happened to me while I was over there. The last 4.5 months that I was in Vietnam, I flew gunships. And it isn't the Cobra that everybody thinks of. It was a Charlie model gunship. I had a crew of 4. And I kind of got lost where I was going here. We strived to keep ourselves together. As a crew of 4 and being 21 years old, I was kind of one of the older ones. Most of the ages were 20. But we had responsibilities. When I said in the paper when I was wounded, I didn't know whether it was in the air or on the ground, because they did take us a while to get us off the ground, under fire. You have time to think. You have time to dig a hole in big sand that people tell you you can't dig a hole in. You find ways of making your target, you, very small. I guess I didn't make it small. But we were flying one night, about 2 o'clock in the morning. You got to understand that we flew the mountains. We were going out to an artillery base that was under fire. My lead aircraft, who was responsible for doing the control of what was happening on the ground, asked the captain in charge, "What is the situation?" He says, "We are being overrun." And you have to understand, these are gentlemen that the soldiers are up on top of a pinnacle, or a mountain, whichever way you want to call it. There were an artillery base that was used to fire out and around. And when asked what his situation was, and that we were going to be about 5 minutes out, his reply was, "It doesn't matter how long it takes you to get here. We have them surrounded, and they have no place to go." And at 2 o'clock in the morning, you listen to that and say, this man has the nerve to sit there, he's being overrun, and don't worry about 5 minutes. We have him surrounded. And basically, that's all my Vietnam stories that I'm going to tell, other than one little minor thing that my grandson was asked to write a story or write about somebody from Vietnam. And he went to his father and he says, "Yeah, I got this problem. Who can I write about?" And he looked at his son and he said, "Why don't you write about your grandfather?" A lot of people don't talk about the war. A lot of people don't want to talk about the war. There are some things that I will never divulge about the war. But you never come back the same way as you left. Thank you.
Please welcome Vietnam veteran Ron Bronze Star recipient, Bill DeMail.
Good evening. As Dennis said, my name is Bill DeMail. I was in the Army in Vietnam, and I was awarded the Bronze Star Medal for that service activity. Currently, I am the Veterans Grave Officer for Newbury. 12 veterans, and to everyone who had or have veterans in their family, I extend my sincerest thank you for your service and for their service. Thank you, Robert Haynes, for your service and for sharing both your thoughts about what the Purple Hat means to you and the interesting history of that medal. I want to share with everyone how Newbury started and progressed through the Purple Hat proclamation process. While driving past Bradley Palmer State Park with my grandson, I noticed a road sign that displayed Purple Hat Trail. I thought about it for a bit, and I decided this must have something to do and be related to the fact that General Patton's home is on this road. 2 days later, while driving north on Route 95, I just entered New Hampshire. I noticed Purple Hat Trail. In Bradford, in Haverhill, they had similar signs that said Purple Hat Town, Oxford, Mass, Purple Hat City, Haverhill, Mass. Now I was really curious. It was time for me to search the internet, and that is where I learned about the Military Order of the Purple Hat, and the National Network of Designated Purple Hat Trails, and the National Listing of Purple Hat Communities. I was convinced that having our town join, and many others, in proclaiming to honor the service and sacrifice of those from our community who were and shall be awarded the Purple Hat while serving or someday may serve in our nation's wars. I emailed retired Major Daniel Edinger. He's the national coordinator of the Purple Hat Trail, and I asked him for some guidance. Within 15 minutes, he called me, chatted for a little while, referred me to retired Staff Sergeant Brian Willett. Brian is the coordinator of the Massachusetts Military Order of the Purple Hat. Brian guided me through the process, supplied me with sample proclamations. He sent me the contact information for the preferred road sign supplier. Then the Newbury Select Board gave me verbal endorsement to proceed. I posted on Facebook, and I got donations from Pamela Morgan, Don Jarvis. Don actually came down to my house the minute he heard about this, okay? Dick Bazigan, Christine Krieger, and myself. And that allowed me to order the road signs, which James Surratt and his team will install in strategic places so that people who enter Newbury will be aware of our proclamation. I don't know if Christine is here. Christine Krieger's father, William, was a Marine. He was wounded in the Battle of Okinawa. Christine has his Purple Heart and other medals. So I want to thank Christine for William's service. My plan to pursue a Purple Hat proclamation started on November 23rd, 2021. It was completed on March 22nd, 2022, when the Select Board signed the proclamation. The next day, March 23rd, Newbury became the 114th community in Massachusetts to be registered nationally as a Purple Hat community. My opinion is that declaring Newbury as a Purple Hat town was a natural sequel to the hosting of the Moving Vietnam Memorial Wall in September 2021. Tonight, we gathered here to make National Vietnam War Veterans Day meaningful and to honor Robert Haynes, to declare by proclamation that Newbury is now a Purple Hat town, and to announce that we will start planning for a ceremony on August 7th, which is National Purple Hat Day, during which we will honor all Newbury Purple Hat recipients from all branches of service participated in all of our nation's wars. Now I'm very proud to introduce Don Jarvis as a Purple Hat recipient, and Don will share his thoughts with us tonight. Thanks very much for being here.
Thank you. As Bill said, my name is Donald Jarvis, and I just received the Purple Heart last year, several years after getting out of the service. So I graduated from Triton in 2004. This was my community for a long time. After enlisting in the service in the Army in 2006, I joined actually the National Guard base here on Low Street in Newburyport. I literally served the community and from the community. I graduated from basic training, then went right to Iraq. Went to Iraq 07 to 08. I did route clearance, which is a combat engineer. Basically, I looked for roadside bombs and explosives and hazards along roadways and pathways. I came back home. I was an utter mess from that deployment, and I went back to Afghanistan now in 2011, 2012. I left here on Thanksgiving 2011. By the time I got to Afghanistan, it was the end of January. I forget the exact date. But on February 13th, 2012, I hit a 250-pound explosive that rocked my vehicle, rolled it over, and as a result, I now have right side injuries that go from my ankle to my knee to my hip, my back, and I'm completely deaf on my right side. And I got a brain injury, so I now deal with vertigo, and I have vestibular issues, so sometimes I can't walk. Actually, 2019, I couldn't walk for a quarter of the year. However, getting back to getting out of the service, I got home 2012. I didn't know what to do. After my last tour, I was a mess, and it was bad. So I came back 2012 to Newbury, my community, and I wanted to do something to get involved, to help myself out, and to find a new purpose. I actually then did some research, and I approached the select board at that time, and I said, I know Jeff Walker was there, and I said, I found a law that says you have to have a veteran grave officer to take care of the graves and to do work. So that's what I did, and that actually gave me a new purpose and built me into the guy I am today. In the meantime, while doing all that, behind the scenes, I was constantly fighting the Army for the award. It took me through a friend of mine to introduce me to this gentleman named General Mark Milley, which may be familiar to some people today if you're following what's going on in the military. When I first got introduced to General Milley, he was Force Com Commander, becoming Chief of Staff. Those veterans who attended my veteran luncheon in 2019, at the end of it, General Milley made a few remarks to the lunch, to the veterans that were there. I was with General Milley 2 weeks prior to that, talking about this. He was in the process of becoming the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, which he is today. Because of that, my Purple Heart packet fell through the cracks, but last February 20th to be exact, he was back up here because his sister was diagnosed with cancer. During that visit, we talked about my Purple Heart, and on April 16th, 2021, it was finally awarded. I did not know that. I get a phone call. I moved out of Newbury in 2020. I get a phone call from my aunt who lives on Highfield Road, where I lived for over 20 years, and she said I got a few packages. So I sat in her living room, and ironically, my aunt's birthday is February 13th, so it's kind of a weird time. But I sat in her living room with her, and I opened the package, and I discovered here in Newbury that I was a Purple Heart recipient. It was very emotional. It was, I cried for probably a week straight. And then last year, and I live in Haverhill now, But last year in Haverhill, when he was there, the VFW did the same thing we're doing here, but in Haverhill, and they asked me if I'd be pinned. So I was. My former military pinning with General Milley is in the works for the future, but obviously the situation in Ukraine has kind of put that in the back burner. But I was asked by Dennis if I'd come and kind of share my story and explain a little more about the Purple Heart and what it means. My Purple Heart Day is February 13th. Up until last year, I didn't do anything on that day. So that's my Purple Heart Day. April 16th is also a special day to me because that's the day I finally got the award. But none of my service would have been possible if it wasn't for the sacrifices that the Vietnam veterans have gone through and did. And I feel you guys paved the way for the GWAT veterans and the Gulf War veterans. I think it's nice that we're doing this and honoring Robert Haynes and giving him the recognition in the service, for the service that he's done for our country. And in closing, to all the Vietnam veterans here in our room, including Robert Haynes, welcome home. Thank you.
It's great to be here tonight together with all of you. I'm J.R. Colby, Vice Chair of the Newbury Select Board. It's an honor to be present among all of you for such an occasion as this. When we look back at our history as a free nation, we must remember that it has come with a great cost, and it was borne by our brave warriors. Whether they enlisted, they were drafted, or joined right out of school to pave their own road, provide themselves a better life than they had before. All of them risked life, limb, and mobility, and many gave freely of these in the name of freedom, here and abroad. Now, with no further delay, we have a very important proclamation to make. Whereas the citizens of the town of Newbury, of the county of Essex, and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts have great admiration and the utmost gratitude for all the citizens of our community who have selflessly served in the armed forces that has been vital in maintaining the freedom and the way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas citizens of our community have been killed in action while serving in the armed forces and have been posthumously awarded the Purple Heart for their ultimate sacrifice. And whereas citizens of our community have been awarded the Purple Heart for their bodily sacrifice of being wounded by the hand of the enemy while engaged in combat. And whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest American military decoration, it was created as the badge of military merit, made of purple cloth in the shape of a heart, with the word merit sewn upon it, on August 7th, 1782, in Newburgh, New York, by General George Washington, and then reestablished as the Purple Heart on February 22nd, 1932, by General Douglas MacArthur. And whereas the heritage it represents is sacred to those who know the price paid to wear the Purple Heart, and whereas August 7th is nationally recognized as Purple Heart Day. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Select Board of the Town of Newbury and the County of Essex of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts proclaim the Town of Newbury and the County of Essex of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts a Purple Heart community, honoring the service and sacrifice of those from our community who were and shall be awarded the Purple Heart while service or shall serve our nation's war. Be it further proclaimed, the Town of Newbury will recognize August 7th annually as Purple Heart Day and urge our citizens and organizations to display the American flag as well as other public expressions of recognition and appreciation of our Purple Heart recipients. Witness our hands as the Newbury Select Board this 22nd day of March in the year of our Lord 2022.
There we go.
Nice.
Please welcome Senator Bruce Todd.
Thank you very much, Dennis, and I want to begin by saying thanks to you for serving as our Master of Ceremonies and for all of the things that you do for the veterans community in this town and all across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
My honor, because these are my heroes.
Well, you deserve our thanks, and I think we should give it to you. What an honor it is to be with all of you for this night. A night when a community comes together to recognize the folks in our lives, in our history, in the legacy of this great nation, which is the greatest nation on the face of the earth, who have fought and sacrificed and held high the ideals that we share. In this country, we've always lived by words and principles that have been carried in the hearts of each successive generation. The words liberty and justice and equality and freedom. And those words have been the great light that has illuminated not only the history of this country, but have illuminated this world and given hope to folks not only within our borders, but in faraway places all across the globe. And what an honor it is to be here with some of the folks that have defended those ideals and those concepts. And when it comes to faraway countries, those goals. What an honor it is to be upon this stage with Robert, and with Bill, and with Donnie, and with so many others here who have said when the time has come to defend those ideals and hold them aloft, send me. And those folks have given the life to the ideals that are words and concepts, but ultimately they are tested. They are tested in the kinds of moments of truth that Bob described and that Donnie described. When a fierce enemy and harm that threatens someone's very life comes, and then comes the test. Are you willing to risk it all so that that light may remain the bright light of freedom and liberty and democracy throughout the world? And those that have earned the Purple Heart have met that test and have said, it will be me, and I will pay the price so that that flame may continue to burn brightly. And they have suffered in so many ways the physical and emotional and psychological harm that is the price of the check that Dennis referred to when he opened this ceremony. Washington knew that. And he has said something, and I'll paraphrase him imperfectly, but he said, we must honor those who serve, because when it's time for the next generation to serve, they will judge their actions by how we have remembered and honored those who have served before. And those words surrounded the genesis of the Purple Heart as a way to signify, uniquely signify, the courage and the bravery and the sacrifice of those who have earned it throughout the years. And in each successive generation, they have earned it. And in each successive generation, we have known their pain. Have we fully understood it? No. For those of us who have not been in those moments and in those instances, we will never understand it in the same way. But our role is to understand it the best we can. to embrace with honor and glory those who have made that sacrifice, who have been in those terrifying moments, and who have given all for the bright light of freedom and democracy, who go to places all over this world, not to capture land as imperialists, but to give freedom for those who are there, and to shed their blood, and to make their sacrifice, oftentimes for people they don't know and may never meet, to hold aloft the bright light of freedom and democracy. And for what they have done and continue to do, we have an obligation. And that obligation is to give thanks, is to give support, and is to commemorate and honor their service whenever we have the opportunity to do so. And I also feel honored to be in a room with so many organizations and individuals who do that on a regular basis. Tonight, Newbury earns the distinction of saying that this entire town will be part of that mission for today and every day, such that whenever we drive through town, whenever people come to visit, those signs that Bill just proudly displayed put the world on notice. We don't forget, we honor, we elevate, and we hold aloft those who have made the sacrifice worthy of receiving the Purple Heart. Maybe, just maybe, things like are happening in Ukraine that inspire us as we see the courage and the bravery of people standing up for their freedom and the integrity of their borders. Maybe, just maybe, from time to time, they look to history to see, are we alone? And they see that because of these United States and the men and women who serve and have continued to serve, they are not alone. And there have been sacrifices. There have been inspirational acts of heroism. And when they see that, maybe in a difficult firefight, maybe in the midst of bombs raining from the sky, they know that they share a kinship with us. And these signs punctuate that kinship of all who love freedom. So I'm honored to be here with you tonight with my colleagues, government, to say thank you to the Board of Selectmen and to this community for putting an exclamation mark on the support of this community for its veterans and its Purple Heart veterans. I have a citation that Lenny and I are just going to present in just a moment. But JR, I'd like to ask you to join me up here so we can present this to you. I know that I see at least 2 other selectmen that are with us tonight. I see Mike is right there and Jeff is right there. And I'd ask all of the selectmen present to stand so that we can give you a round of applause for taking the action that we celebrate tonight. Lenny, if you join me. JR, this is a citation, and we divided the effort tonight, so this one is from the Senate. We have another one that's coming shortly from the House. But this one reads, "Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to the town of Newbury in recognition of being designated as a Purple Heart town. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by our clerk." Lenny and I are proud to offer this proud to stand with you tonight and proud to represent another Purple Heart town, added to the pride that we have in Massachusetts for all of those communities. Thank you.
Thank you to all of Newbury's veterans, past and present, in the town, everybody that supported us. Thank you so much.
Please welcome my friend, Representative Lenny Merrick.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. I'll say at the outset that one of the hardest parts of this job is following Senator Todd at a speaking engagement. Thank you, Senator, for those beautiful, moving, and eloquent words. Well done. Greatly appreciated. As you heard, the Purple Heart was created by George Washington himself in 1782, then called the Badge of Military Merit. This was the first American Service Award made available to the common soldier. The Purple Heart is the Department of Defense's formal recognition of those veterans who were killed or wounded in combat, and it is one of the very few medals awarded in the name of the President. It represents the reality of the risk our service members face every day. Now, Americans enjoy freedoms and privileges not found anywhere else in the world. We enjoy the opportunity to pursue our dreams, to move freely throughout our nation, to vote, to worship in the way that we choose. And these are the things that we should never take for granted. We enjoy them because they're protected by the brave men and women who protect this nation with their lives every day. And so it is only right and proper that we should honor those who have suffered injuries in the defense of our great nation. I could not be happier, I could not be more proud about the town of Newbury and the way that it is showing that it has the deepest appreciation and respect for these men and women who have made great sacrifices in serving their nation by becoming a Purple Heart community. Now, Senator Todd read from a citation for the town of Newbury. I have with me a second one that I would like to read briefly. This is from Mr. Robert Haynes, Purple Heart recipient, who was shot down in a helicopter over Vietnam. He served from 1968 to 1969. I'm going to read from it. Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Mr. Robert Haynes in recognition of your honoring you for your courageous and brave service to the United States of America during the Vietnam War and being awarded a Purple Heart, and for your many years serving as a firefighter for the town of Newbury. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. And it's given this 29th day of March 2022. It's signed by Ronald Mariano, the Speaker of the House, and by myself, Lenny Merrick, your state representative. Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
This next gentleman is the Vietnam liaison working in Congressman Seth Moulton's office. I met him for the first time at an event I was at on Sunday. And he looks like a movie star, doesn't he? Please welcome Purple Heart recipient Stephen Bone.
I would say like a D-lister movie star. I mean, not an A-lister, not an A-lister. Good evening. My name is retired Army Specialist Steve Bond. I was born and raised in Salem, Massachusetts. I served in Afghanistan with the 101st Airborne Division, 1st 506 Infantry Regiment in Afghanistan back in 2008. Towards the end of my deployment, I had a suicide bomber in a dump truck pull up to my combat outpost, detonate, the building I was in collapsed on me, compressed my spinal cord, my bladder ruptured. Spent about 6 months at Walter Reed Army Hospital going through all my surgeries, bladder reconstructive surgery, lower lumbar spinal surgery. I was also diagnosed with traumatic brain injury. I worked with Wounded Warrior Project for a while, and I got to help on a national level the wounded service members coming home. But being from Salem, I wanted to do something more with our community. So I had the distinct honor, Congressman Wolf hired me back in October to be his Veterans Liaison and help out the whole entire 6th District of Massachusetts. And I couldn't be more honored to be able to help out my fellow veterans here today and all across the district. It wasn't always an easy transition. We all have our moments coming home where, you know, stress gets to you, or you just got to persevere. And that's what I strive to be. I remember my doctor telling me at Walter Reed one day, he's like, you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. And I live by that every day. Some days are not easy, obviously, you know, this, my spine, I wake up, I'm like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed today, but I get up, and it's because of that. It gives me a purpose again. It's that purpose that I thought I lost. But there's other ways of serving, and I've learned that over time. Once again, I couldn't be more proud to be here today. The Congressman is in DC, unfortunately. He gives congratulations. We have a certificate of congressional recognition for the town of Newbury for their commitment and dedication to the Purple Heart community. So I want to thank you all again for having me here today. I hope to see you all in the future, and God bless our veterans, God bless America.
So you met some of my heroes here tonight. I'd like to introduce you to one more. Vietnam veteran, U.S. Marine, Dominic Masolino. How are you, Todd? Dominic is a triple amputee. Who received the Bronze Star and the Purple Heart. He's also the president of the Disabled and Limbless Veterans Organization. Thank you, Dominic. I'm sure there are a few more Purple Heart recipients here tonight that want to remain anonymous. You see, that's the thing about these people. They're so unassuming that you never know how much of a badass they are. Can I say badass? Sure. Tell you what, you're all invited to a reception after this ceremony in the cafeteria where maybe you can meet one of my heroes. My committee and I have a presentation, and committee member Jason LaCroix will explain.
Jarvis, Joe, join me up here. So as many of you know, that we had the movie wall here back in September. So it was our pleasure to be hosted by the town of Newbury, welcomed with open arms. And as many of you know, where the moving wall sits down becomes an instant national monument. That land becomes sacred. So we change the flags every single day. And today we want to bestow a token of our appreciation to the town of Newbury and to the Newbury Police Department. These are actually flags that were flown over the wall during the week it was here. We have one for the town hall. And one for the Newbury Police Department.
You're going home with all kinds of stuff, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, freedom is not free. It comes with costs. Those costs are the challenges that our Purple Heart recipients endure every day. That cost is written on that wall that was here in September. All gave some did all. Please stand. Help me honor the Purple Heart recipients who were never able to receive their Purple Hearts. The Essex County Sheriff's Department Honor Guard will retire the colors. Thank you all for coming. It means so much to me, my committee, and the Purple Heart recipient. My heartfelt thanks go to the town of Newbury, the Newbury Police Department, the Newbury Fire Department, the Patriot Riders, the Boy Scouts of America, the Essex County Sheriff's Department, Frank Bertolino, Jim Cates, TD Bank, the Newburyport News, and of course, my incredible committee. By the way, when you see a veteran, thank him or her. You may think so, but it means a lot.